Hello there, this is SME Point. My name is Tshepo Jeans. This week we meet Freshmor, the first black-owned township-based business to produce mouthwash packaged in sachets. Its founder, Paul Masilo, believes that there's space for Africans to manufacture their own oral hygiene products with the help of various incubation hubs. He hopes to get the attention of retailers to show off the capacity of African innovators. Take a look at his story. Paul Masilo can trace back to the exact date when the idea to come up with a convenient mouthwash popped up in his mind. January 2016. Masilo says he needed something to refresh his mouth during an annual fasting period.
So the light bulb moment was when I was looking for my bottle for mouthwash. And then when I opened my drawer, I saw my bottle sitting next to a sachet of tomato sauce. So then it stuck my mind to say, why can't I put the mouthwash, for easy convenience to carry around here? So because the bottle was bulky. Besides being bulky to carry around, remember the ones that are already in the market, are made by companies from outside Africa. So I wanted to do something, a first for Africa, because we have got intelligent minds in Africa,
Masilo says the most important part of developing the product was the research aspect. He says this gave him exceptional insight into what it takes to produce a proudly South African mouthwash.
The first thing that I did was to call the companies that were already manufacturing mouthwash, because I wanted to buy from them and package it into and maybe rebrand it as my own, But at the end of the day, that product is not mine. It's just a rebranding, So I wanted something that belongs to me as an African, as a black person based in the township, create my own formula. So I had to even research further, on how to develop a formula. Fortunate enough, I met with Professor David Katerere from the Tshwane University of Technology Pharmaceutical Department. Then we brainstormed the formula and then we developed the formula from scratch. So a first for Africa.
Finding a suitable laboratory and innovation hub to bring the product to life was a challenge, as none have developed a product like this one before. But with the help of Chemin, a business incubator in the chemical manufacturing sector, his dream can be a game changer. Getting onto retail shelves, however, is proving to be a great hurdle. Yet, Masilo is looking beyond the challenge of competition.
If we could get more support from the retailers, put our product into their shelves, our brothers and sisters from outside Africa will buy it, and then when they go back to their countries, they will, use the word of mouth to talk about Freshmor, and then it will spread. If we could get support from our regional airlines that go from South Africa or any other African country, if they can stock that, going overseas, when they return back to Africa, they will give out their mouthwash in their airlines, and then that's also a marketing way for the product.
Freshmor has been tested by the South African Bureau of Standards through the University of Limpopo's Biotechnologies Research Center and endorsed by Proudly South African. Other role players like the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa also helped to barcode his product for traceability. Masilo emphasizes the importance of using enterprise supply development programs to get their skin in the game. He says it is not all about funding.
You can actually utilize enterprise supply development funding in a variety of companies, because here in South Africa, actually our laws require that the big companies, because the company that is actually helping us with the packaging, they are using the enterprise supply development. They didn't put the money into our bank account, but they gave us an essential service using the enterprise supply development. So sometimes we get frustrated because we want the rands and cents from the funding, maybe from CEDA or whatever agents that is funding or whoever is available to fund us, to give us the rands and cents. And when the rands and cents are in the bank account, there could be a temptation of actually using the money for something else. But also look at the option of using enterprise supply development funding. Small will measure for us 0.25 grams.
Tshepo Jeans, SABC News, Johannesburg. Thank you so much, Paul Masilo, for sharing your story with SME Point. It was really inspiring to spend some time with you to understand, what goes into the process of coming up with a concept like this, the challenges that he's also facing. And we do wish him luck in that. We hope that retailers can at least engage him to see if his product cannot be put on the shelves of the retail shops, and so that we all have the opportunity to use a proudly South African brand. Last year, Lorato Agency hosted the very first Top 16 Youth-Owned Brand Awards. These awards celebrated business owned by South African youth, the first of its kind. The awards consisted of 16 categories from different parameters of the economy. Among the winners were well-known brands like Tshepo Jeans and Bathu shoes. Well, the nominations are open again for local entrepreneurs to enter. The founder, Mahlangu, joins me via Zoom to understand how you can be part of it. Pat, thank you so much for joining us on SME Point once again. Let's start off by talking about the importance of youth-owned businesses and cultivating a culture of entrepreneurship at a time where the South African economy is not doing well. There's lack of jobs and morale is generally low. How would you say, or how would you characterize this time and the importance thereof?
I think the time has never been more important than now, where young people really need to be taking matters into their own hands in terms of creating businesses and brands that ultimately create employment opportunities for other young people. As you alluded to in your intro, saying that these are really, I'll say, peculiar times, in the South African economy and also in the South African society in general. There's a lot of things that are happening right now that can easily deter anyone, whether you are young and old. The elements that we are starting to see manifesting in our societies can, off track anyone, even though you are focused. But we just want to say, what I want to say is that young people are well positioned in terms of changing the entire trajectory of this economy. And as you may know, all major revolutions, whether it's globally or locally, have always been spearheaded by young people. Yes. And I think if young people are given the chance to take the driver's seat, definitely South Africa's future will change for the better. Yeah.
Last year I attended these awards. It was the first of their kind, and it was quite inspirational to see the caliber of businesses and the kind of brands that these entrepreneurs have built behind their businesses. Take us through that journey of selecting them. And I mean, you yourself are a young startup agency conceptualizing these awards. What was the thinking behind it? Because we have awards all the time, but to have a particular focus on youth-owned businesses and giving that particular attention is something else. Take me briefly through your journey about the journey of doing that, and also what the results have been of those businesses, particularly the ones that were nominated and won.
Yes, definitely. Last year we hosted our first inaugural awards, and really the journey has been incredible and nothing short of amazing, in a sense that we were able to discover brands that are doing some really amazing things, be it in the townships, be it in the cities, that were not really getting the spotlight. And our founding mandate is that we want to shine the light on youth excellence. A lot has been said about young people, and there's always been this one question that has been asked that says, the youth of 1976 for the political fight, and what is the youth of today fighting for? And really with these awards, we're trying to answer that question, to say the youth of today is not sitting on their hands. The youth of today is actually creating businesses, creating employment opportunities, and ultimately contributing to the image of South Africa. That's really what these awards are about. But also above and beyond, these are more than just an award show. We don't just give people trophies and a pat on the back, pun intended, to say, well done, off you go. So what we are also trying to do with our winners, we've had corporate partners coming on board and saying to us, look, Pat, we are looking for businesses that are owned by the youth that you can partner up with, or that we can give a platform to showcase on our mediums, and we've been being that conduit, to say between youth-owned businesses and also big corporates, and that's what you want to do more of this year, and also to drive education, around the importance of building a brand. I think most entrepreneurs, when they're starting their businesses, they focus a lot on obviously operational stuff, or the research and development of their product, but they forget that actually a brand can be the company's number one asset if it's worked on right.
In this last minute that I still have you on the line, Pat, take us through the application process. I can imagine that a lot of people want to enter this. I really saw some inspiring and amazing businesses that I've kept in touch with, and I've kept my eye on some of the nominees there. I loved their quality. I loved their caliber. They really took their imaging seriously. Last year's candidates, they really took the brand to another level. It was not just businesses that are, by the way, kind of businesses. You could tell that this is a brand that someone works on each and every day. There is someone out there that wants to do that today. How do they become part of this nomination process?
All right, so we have a website set up for the Top 16 Youth-Owned Brands Awards. It's www.top16yoba. On that platform, you can actually find all the information about these awards. We've got our roadshow planned out for this year for the first time, so we'll be doing a countrywide roadshow to educate people about the importance of branding, and of course to drive entries, to get people to enter and find out more information about the awards. So www.top16yoba.co.za. You can nominate yourself. If you're a business owner, you can nominate your own brand, or you can nominate any other youth-owned brand, and the brand must be owned by persons between the ages of 18 and 35, and the business must have been around for longer than a year, and must have some digital presence as well.
I can tell you that already age kicks me out, so I wouldn't even be able to enter even if I wanted to. But thank you so much for being a friend to SME Point, and thank you very much. And I hope that people have taken note to that website address and go there. And please do nominate the businesses that are around you. Remember, our slogan here at SME Point is let's circulate the rands and cents in our communities. If you know of a business that's doing exceptionally well, that deserves a break, please direct them to the YBO website for the Youth-Owned Brands Awards, and who knows, they can be the lucky ones. That's all for SME On Point for this week. Remember to support small businesses in your area. Circulate those rands and cents. More business news coming up with Nzinga Konta after the break. Do stay with us.